Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Summer School. Today we are having a solo episode or two because I'm about to go shoot a travel wedding. So we are going to be gone for about the next 2 weeks, which is both exciting and really exhausting to think about. I don't know. I feel like I just got back. If you've been listening to the podcast last month, I was in New York. I was in Utah. I've been down to Laguna Beach to shoot an engagement session. I've been literally everywhere. And today I actually just location scouted for an engagement session in Santa Monica. And I've lived in LA for almost 2 years now, but I've only been to Santa Monica maybe 3 times, maybe more as a local, not to scout pretty things. So I actually had my work cut out for me. It took me an hour to find parking. It turned into a whole day adventure. I thought I'd be home by 2 or 3, and I didn't get home till 6 p.m. So tomorrow I have an engagement session. Wednesday Jake has work, and Thursday morning we fly out for the wedding. So it's about to be crazy. And also it's not just a wedding, but also Jake's family goes on a week-long family vacation about this time every year for the last 30 years. So we will also be joining that. It just so happened that I booked a wedding kind of in the same town. So that was a dream inquiry that came through. Perfect timing that their wedding would also be the same weekend that we would normally be going to this town up in the middle of nowhere in Washington. Anyways, so super cool. I have a really cool wedding coming up, a 2-day wedding and family vacation. So the next 2 weeks is about to be a little crazy. So I'm currently filming 2 different episodes, and this one today is going to be on social media. What's crazy about social media is when I first started educating back when I was, 21 years old. I am 26 now. So 5 years ago, I was actually being asked to talk about social media most of the time in my talks. Things like Reels were coming out, TikTok was becoming popular. I still haven't really gotten on TikTok, but social media was changing, and I was that younger demographic that they wanted to come in and kind of help them learn what to do, how to make short form content, all of these things. And I saw a lot of success. A lot of the success, even in my career, came from social media. It came from Instagram. Not all of it. I now talk on a good bit of sustainability and how social media isn't the only way. And if you want to attract a certain clientele, sometimes it's not even the right way for you, depending on your business. I actually marketed mostly on social media for the majority of the beginning of my career, and it affected me maybe negatively, not totally negatively, because different opportunities have been presented. But one way that it did affect me that maybe wasn't super positive was that when I hit a certain ceiling of trying to elevate into maybe the next pricing bracket or the next maybe position that I was trying to get in my career, maybe the next type of clientele, I actually kind of hit a ceiling where the clients I was attracting budget-wise were not having the budget for maybe where I was wanting to go. And obviously there's a lot that can go into that portfolio, the style that you're putting out. But in general, with social media, a certain price point, maybe mid or upper luxury clientele, they're not oftentimes finding a lot of their vendors via social media. They're having planners, doing all these things that as a younger photographer, newer to the industry, I didn't quite understand. So there are 2 sides of social media always. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. But if you want to get into maybe luxury weddings, maybe in-person networking is more important for you. If you want to grow on some social media in today's climate and in today's industry, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that have been working for me as someone who will openly admit that for about the past year and a half, I have actually been declining in following, which is completely fine. I have built the community that I've dreamed of that I didn't have when I was growing at a really rapid pace. So back for context, when I got married a year and a half ago, almost 2 years now actually, from our wedding, we drove straight to LA and we said, hey, if we're going to find somewhere in LA to live, we'll move here. And if we don't, we'll stay in Washington. So genuinely, we literally got married, drove straight from our wedding in Vegas, and that was how we moved to LA. It was crazy. And when we did that, I had came off of shooting 35 to 40 plus weddings that year. I was like sick or on a plane every weekend. And I had realized this is literally not for me. I mean, I had realized it kind of before that, but I was finishing out that season of working in that as that type of wedding photographer. There's all these different types of wedding photographers that charge all different types of things. And for me, I was booking a ton. I had a lot of inquiries. I even had a coach who was like, oh my gosh, Summer, like this is a lot of inquiries. Like I'm quite honestly impressed. And while it was really enjoyable to know that the business side of my art was going well, I was not necessarily fulfilled. So when we got married and moved to LA, I really wanted to kind of take like a month off posting. And what's crazy is I was growing like rapidly back then, like maybe 100 followers a day. I was posting all the time. I feel like social media was kind of controlling my life. And even with my husband, he was like, this is weird. I don't know if I like this. And for me, I was just like, no, this is what I need to do, because that was how I was acquiring probably 90% of my clients. I took that break. That winter, I decided to pivot and change to more in-person networking because I wanted to build up vendor relationships that could carry for years to come. And I wanted to potentially maybe pivot into the luxury market of the wedding industry. Luxury is a big word that's tossed around these days. I would say I wanted to pivot into charging probably at least 10 to 20 grand myself. So if that puts it in a perspective for you listening, that's kind of what I wanted to pivot to for myself. There's obviously luxury photographers that charge $50,000 to $100,000 a wedding. I personally just wanted to be charging probably at least 10 or more per booking. So I started pivoting to more in-person networking. I stopped posting online as much. I launched coaching programs. I started diving more into my education and building a business that felt more sustainable for me. Flash forward to now, I've gone through many phases of being like, okay, maybe I should post again. Maybe I should get back into this. And genuinely, it's never felt right. And I don't know what about it never felt right. But within the last 2 weeks, I started posting more. I started filming some more BTS, maybe style content. And I just started every day being like, hey, I'm going to post and it's not going to be a big deal. I'm not going to do my makeup and have to have this perfect, like, audio synced, photo dump or clickbaity type thing. I'm just gonna, if it's just me loading film into a camera, I'm just gonna post. And I'm gonna post what feels me and what feels natural. And it, to me, has been working. I've been seeing results. I'm not quite frankly, I'm not doing it in a, oh my gosh, I need to grow my following. Because if you listen to the podcast, you know that I don't quite frankly care that much these days about having a massive, massive following. But when it comes to educating people, finding out about the thing that you're listening to right now, Summer School, and helping other photographers, it is good for me to have brand awareness and to be engaging online and growing and being seen by new people. So posting is a good idea if I have time and the mental capacity to do so, but doing it strategically in a way that I'm both enjoying, people are enjoying, and it is growing is also important for me personally in my Sage business that I'm in right now. So the past 2 weeks, I have been posting way more consistently than normal. And I have been seeing better results than I've seen in the past year and a half. And I don't know if I would ever have expected this because I've gone through stages of being like, okay, I'm going to post more now. And I'll like batch out some things and they'll do like mediocre and is what it is. And I don't feel like they were ever me. I was always overthinking or trying to talk to the camera and explain some product that I don't even really care about, or just overcomplicating literally everything. And for the first time in the past 2 weeks, I've kind of more so just, hey, I have this video. Okay, let's put it to some music and write something that I'm passionate about. And I have been having so much fun. I'm not saying that this is going to work for everyone, but I've had talks even on this podcast with other social media people and where we're saying, what's trending in 2025, even with a talk I think I had with Angela from Social Templates, who was coming on Summer School, the membership this month. We're having a social media panel with Angela, Stacy, and I guess me now that I'm figuring things out. And we're going to be talking about everything that's working for us in social media and right now and what could work for you. So it's going to be a really, really fun conversation. Go ahead and join us if you want to hop in. But what's been working for me recently has genuinely just been like not thinking too hard about it. And I know that's going to actually sound really hard to probably any of you listening that want to get into posting online. But genuinely get yourself to film things that feel uncomfortable and get yourself to just film like mundane things and post that stuff, because people, I think, are starting to get tired of the very short clip of something curated and then click into the caption to read something that really doesn't matter. I think they're starting to get kind of bored of that. And I was literally thinking today while I was location scouting for 5 hours, I was like, oh, it would be kind of fun. Like, I would enjoy seeing a photographer posting something that mundane. Hey, I'm location scouting today. My phone's on 5%. I've walked 5 miles and this is just part of the job. Like, that would be really cool for me to see. Like, what are they looking for? Why are they walking around so much? And what are they hoping to find before their session? I would love to see something like that instead of, oh, here is my, I don't know, what's something just like clickbaity, or here's my go-to poses for a couple session. I don't know. Things that we've all seen before, things that are clearly just photographers trying to make a video that looks good. Like, I personally think it'd be amazing if people just started being real again. So I'm trying to do that, and I've had a lot of fun doing it. At our last wedding, we were taking a shot that I thought was cool, and I was just like, okay, I should take out my phone and get a little BTS of this. Post it to BTS. It's at 150,000 views. It's not that complicated, guys. Just take the behind the scenes and post it. Don't overthink. Just do it. If you want more practical advice, come join us in summer school. But the past 2 weeks has been interesting. I feel as though I've learned a lot. I'm kind of excited about social media all over again after a year and a half of honestly not really enjoying it. I love everyone I've met from the platform that I built for myself, but I never had a distaste for social media, I guess. My backstory is I thought I would work in social network marketing, so in some ways I enjoy it, but there was a new wave of maybe influencers that came about in the wedding space, and then there was educators, and then there was kind of the people floating in between. And I would say in some ways I felt like that. I didn't know what lane I was trying to go down, and for me it made it hard to produce any sort of content for anyone because I had no idea what I was even doing. And when it comes to strategy, you need a plan, and you need to know where you're going and how you're going to drive that vehicle in that direction. And I just didn't know. And it was actually really enlightening in Utah recently at a workshop I was teaching at. Someone asked me, his name's Derek. Shout out Derek if you're listening to this. He asked me, Summer, so these days, would you consider yourself an influencer or would you consider yourself an educator? And I confidently said, in today's times, I would align much more with being an educator than an influencer. I love all of my influencing friends, but I'm more passionate about helping photographers and helping other business people succeed than I am about having quick growth and showcasing maybe parts of my life that, I don't know, like I'm down to influence you into a direction of maybe gear or software that I think you should need, but I just don't care for myself to be super in with certain trends, or I don't know, when you think influencer, like I'm just not, like it's just not aligning with me, which is completely fine. And I think it took me maybe a year to figure that out, which is also okay. But for all of you listening, just know that I'm back. I'm excited, and I'm excited to also help you discover from my own lessons I'm learning what could work for you based off what's working for me. So what's working for me is, in my opinion, captions that are actually insightful. I don't think I ever spent that much time on captions ever. And recently I've been kind of using the captions. I'd say casual content has been performing great because the community I've built appreciates it. It doesn't need to go viral for it to be something worth posting. If I have 4,000 views, but the community I've built is like, hey, I really enjoyed seeing this because it was entertaining, or it taught me something, or I just really enjoyed how vulnerable you were in that scenario, then that is worth posting. Not everything needs to be viral to be worth sharing and to be worth maybe your community growing online. Like, I think you can grow without everything going viral. All you need to be is consistent. Something else I've learned on the note of consistency, which I wouldn't even say I've learned, I've always known this. The more consistent you are online, the easier it gets. When it comes down to social media, when I am consistent, the ideas are flowing. It's just like when you're shooting sessions all the time and maybe you're becoming more inspired because it kind of builds off itself. The momentum you get from being in that mindset really encourages the natural inspiration to come. The feelings of, oh, what do I share today? Or I don't know what I'm going to post. That just doesn't really happen because you're so on it and it's so back of brain that it becomes like brushing your teeth. In a social media talk I used to give years ago, I literally would say that habit building is the key to success online. I still would agree with that. I always tell people, are you scared of answering your emails in the morning? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, so you shouldn't be scared of social media. If you can create and make social media a part of your everyday routine to the point that it is like answering emails or like brushing your teeth in the morning. So for all of you listening, go ahead and try to figure out a way to implement it into your everyday routines. For me, with a baby, I have no routines. So I've had to figure out how to just implement this into my life. And what that looks like is when I have 5 minutes of downtime, I open my phone and I post something. It is not that deep. It does not need to be that serious. It doesn't need to be pre-planned. When I have 5 minutes of downtime, okay, I'm posting. What is it going to be? Scroll through my videos, through my BTS. What can I share that is insightful, inspiring, honest, real, simple? It could be simple. It could be me loading film. What can I share today that people haven't really seen? It just doesn't need to be too complicated. Don't overcomplicate it. Just share, because the more you share, the more you're going to learn about what you enjoy sharing. I've already learned in the past 2 weeks that, okay, I kind of like casual content and I'm kind of excited to keep testing this and see how it does. So today when I was location scouting, I filmed me location scouting, a little 0.5 video of me walking through town, talking to the camera, vlogging. That's fun for me. And for the community I'm trying to build, that'll be fun for them too. And if it doesn't grow my community, that's fine. If people leave, that's fine, because it's going to grow the right people. So, I will say, totally off tangent of what I've been rambling on, is that filming in public is so nerve-wracking. And I think also the past year of me not necessarily posting as much as I used to and as much as maybe I should as a business owner, I guess. When you get out of habit of even just being vulnerable in that way, it becomes very uncomfortable. So if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I've never been posted before and I want to get more on this, just know it's really weird for most everyone. When I even was around all my friends in Utah, and I'd say they're more into the content creation and influencing than I am, I was a little nervous sometimes. They'd be filming something. I've never lip synced before. I'm like, I don't even know how to do this. This is another skill. I feel old and I'm not, which is hilarious, but I'm not really on TikTok, and a lot of my feed is just mom stuff or photo stuff. I'm kind of nerdy and like in my own world, and I'm not really up to date with like what's cool. I feel like I am in some ways, but in like a very alternative way, not in a pop way. So, I've never like lip synced for a camera until Utah, which is crazy. There's things. And so you don't have to do those things. Just do what feels natural to you and your people will come. Literally me just loading a film camera. Freaking love it. And it doesn't need to go viral, but the right people will see it. So I don't know. Just don't overcomplicate social media. Try your best. Build it into your everyday routines and make it casual. I feel like casual is either in or it's going to be in. And I truly think people will appreciate and like it. A good example of this is my friend Stacy Brooks. She's actually going to be in the social media panel next week for summer school. So come join us. But she's a great example of a little content machine. I don't know how she does it sometimes, but I do think because she's so used to doing it, I don't think it weighs on her like most of you think it will weigh on you. she's posting just behind the scenes of her weddings, behind the scenes of her shoots. Every morning, she's somehow sharing something. I don't know. Creds to you, girl. It's actually very impressive. I'm very impressed. I spent time with her in New York, and it was super inspiring to be around someone who is that on it when it comes down to socials. So if you want to grow on socials, maybe you want to post or share like Stacy, like me, like anyone. It could be anyone, you know? Just know that it takes time to find your voice, that losing followers is actually normal. Even in my growing, I'm losing followers every day. Every photographer that's posting online, even if they're growing at a super rapid rate, they're losing followers too. And if you're not constantly posting, you will most likely be losing more than you're growing. So that kind of goes to show with why you need to be consistent and constantly be sharing, because that's just life and that's just social media. And it's really not that big of a deal. I've maybe said not that big of a deal and just be casual so much this episode. But if you take anything from this, I want you to know that losing followers is normal. There's seasons with social media. It can be like a roller coaster, but at the end of the day, consistency truly is king. If anyone says otherwise, it's just not true. Be consistent, make it a part of your everyday routine and your habits, because when it becomes like that, it's going to be so much less mentally draining and so much more, I would say, fulfilling, in the sense that it doesn't define you. It doesn't define your success. It doesn't define how you feel about yourself, your photos, your business, because it's just something you have to get done. I'm very pro, making it feel like an email, because why not? I don't know. But yeah, casual content, I'm kind of feeling it, and I'm excited to talk about social media soon. So if you want to know more about all of that, come join us. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I feel like I've learned about social media. Ooh, okay. I feel as though my bookings, this is complete raw, vulnerable honesty. I feel as though my bookings did waver when I was extremely pregnant. So for myself and in my business, I would say a lot of my clients book me 6 months to a year and a half in advance. Some of my hiring clients might book 3 to 6 months in advance. And some of my not normal in a bad way, just normal clientele that maybe they're splurging on me a little bit. They're booking maybe 9 months, year and a half, sometimes maybe a year. But anyways, majority of my bookings probably about a year out, average. This year, I have a lot less bookings in the period that I was very pregnant and sharing about being very pregnant online. This has not been normal in my business, and I've had a ton of inquiries this year. So it's just been very interesting to see that and to know, okay, maybe if I cared enough back last fall, maybe I wouldn't have shared about pregnancy quite as much on my professional business account. But because I've built a platform that is a lot about me, my life, what I'm doing, what I'm shooting, I don't care, and I have no regrets about sharing that. But I thought it was kind of interesting, and I do understand now in hindsight, when you're thinking about booking a wedding photographer, the first thought that pops into your mind is not the extremely pregnant woman. I totally understand why there was that correlation, and in hindsight, would I have changed how I was sharing last year? Honestly, I don't think so. But if I needed work and I was trying to actively book more work this time last year and I was pregnant, I would maybe change how I was sharing on my stories to the public, which I've seen in lots of friends. They don't share all about their pregnancy or even their child, and they have maybe a close friends, and that's fine, and they attract a certain clientele, and I actually totally get it now. But man, I just want my brand and my place in the industry to be one of honesty and what I'm going through and how my life is, and it be vulnerable that life is crazy and I have a baby and I'm pumping out weddings and there's all these factors. So I don't regret it at all. But business-wise, if I was giving you an honest business opinion, if you're trying to book more work, maybe you don't share some of those things. That's completely okay. It can just be a strategy for you. And I hope this gives you some sort of advice in that way, that if you are about to go down that, or you're endeavoring into maybe getting pregnant soon and you're a wedding photographer, take that into consideration. I don't know if it'll affect you as much as it affected me, but I definitely think it did affect my bookings in some capacity, which was just an interesting reflection. Outside of that, the rest of things I'm not going to tell you because we got to talk about stuff in summer school, the community. So come join us. Life update wise, I already told you we are leaving super soon, and I'm about to film another episode for next Tuesdays, which is going to be hot takes, kind of. I basically screenshotted a lot of controversial, maybe things that happened on Threads, and I am about to read all of that to all of you and react to it. So instead of having some sort of Q&A or drop a anonymous thing in my DMs, I literally just screenshotted some things on Threads because Threads is wild. So we're going to go through those, and we are going to talk a little bit about the fact that HoneyBook low-key crashed out and how I feel about that. And yeah, we're just going to chat about all those things. So stay tuned for next Tuesday. Come join us. Or if the episode's already out and you're just now listening to this one, go ahead and hop over there. If you're not in summer school, come join us right now so that you can join us for the social media panel coming up pretty soon this month. And I will catch you all next week. Bye.